Hello everybody, my name is Shuming and today we are going to look at two troops in Clash Mini. We're going to look at their stats and their abilities, and those two troops are the Archer and the Mini Pekka. If you don't know how troops work in Clash Mini, you have no idea how the level system works, or you have no idea what abilities are, I suggest you to check out my previous video because otherwise you won't understand what I'm talking about. So check them out if you are not familiar, but otherwise, let's get started. Before I go on, I'd just like to say that the things I'm covering is subject to change. In fact, they are likely to change because this game still isn't in beta yet. So if you are watching this in the far future, take this with a grain of salt. Let's start with the Archer. The Archer is a 2 elixir troop and it's a long range troop, obviously. Its base ability, which is the ability that you can get right after you unlock the troop, is that it shoots the enemy that is furthest away from her. So this would be useful in combating other long range troops because long rangers tend to stay far away, so the Archer might be useful for that. Moving on to in 1 star, its ability is that it can target 2 enemies at once. It shoots 2 arrows at the same time. It targets the furthest and the second furthest troop away from her. And this would be obviously very useful since we're targeting 2 enemies at the same time. So pretty good. Its 2-star ability is the Boast ability. After she kills an enemy, she gets a 1 damage boost for 8 seconds. You can see this is activated by looking at the red sword symbol above the Archer. Can you see it there? That means that the Archer has the Boast mechanic on. That is how you can see whether its ability is activated. So this is pretty useful in some big battle with lots of troops. I can see this being very useful. Moving on to its 3-star ability, the max level ability, which is at the beginning it can have a faster hit speed at the beginning, and this ability is called the Clash mechanic. This lasts for 8 seconds and it is actually pretty long because in 1 round it only lasts like less than 30 seconds, so 8 seconds is very long. So this would be a great ability. You can see when this is activated by looking at the Archer's hand. You can see her hands are glowing. That means that the Clash ability is activated, and after the 8 seconds you can see the Archer's hands return back to normal. Moving on to the second troop here, the Mini Pekka. The Mini Pekka is a 3 elixir troop and it is a melee troop. You can see its stats here in the image, but I won't get into too much detail here because these are very likely to change. As I said, this game still isn't in beta yet. But one thing that's very interesting is that it says that it has no energy, right? Look at the energy parts of the stats. It's all 0. Now you might be asking, what is energy? Energy is basically the stuff that charges a super. A super is like this big ability, kind of like a super in Brawl Stars, and it's available in all heroes and some specific minis. For example, the Electro Wizard here. You can see in this video, the Electro Wizard casts this big electric attack shot. That is his super, and you charge them with energy. You can charge energy by just attacking. So if a troop attacks an enemy, that can charge his energy, and when the energy gets to a specific amount, then it can activate its super. The reason why the Mini Pekka has 0 energy in all those stats is that because it does not have a super. As I said, only certain minis can have super, so Mini Pekka is one of those troops that doesn't have a super. Hopefully that is clear for you guys. Let's move on to its abilities. Its base ability is that it can have a small chance of dealing twice the damage. So that's pretty strong considering according to its stats now, it can already do 2 damage. So that's pretty good. Its 1-star ability is that the chance of dealing double damage is doubled. So you get even more chance of dealing that critical hit, which is amazing. Its 2-star ability is called the Dissipate ability. That means that it can decrease the enemy's energy. I explained what energy is earlier in the video, so you should understand it. When the Mini Pekka attacks an enemy, that enemy will lose its energy. It doesn't lose all of it, it loses like a little part of it. And this decreases the enemy's chance of gaining a super, which is super beneficial, especially if the super is something big, like the Electro Wizard. So this ability is very interesting, and I can see its use in many scenarios. Its 3-star ability is the Boost ability. Its speed is exactly the same as the Archer's 2nd ability, which is that it has +1 damage after killing another enemy. This 3-star ability, I think it is a bit lackluster. It feels very copy and paste, but it still is beneficial, so I can't complain. Okay, so that is it for both of the troops. If you want to see more troops being covered, be sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, thank you for watching, and this is Shumi here, and peace out.